It doesn't look as though it's Robin King's.
Oh,
it's hard to say. Hard to say. It's Greg Lambert and someone at least.
Yeah, Greg Lambert in the F1 as well.
In
That's
the
the
F1.
other interesting thing with Greg, of course.
There's a few gaps on the grid there, isn't there?
Yeah, well, we do go back to this, people coming here to get a signature, and that's not meant in any disrespectful way. It's a necessary part of racing. They're not doing the BMZ Championship. They're not even scoring points here, so it is all time. Wow, look at those F2s off the line. They absolutely bury these suckers into the ground, and away they go. And first and second on the grid have been well and truly swamped there, haven't they, Bradley?
Certainly have. That's the number 114. That's Wayne Lockie who's leading the way. Wayne Lockie and from Morton in Marsh. He is out in front with, looks like Ben Holland trying to go the long way round of Saunders and Coppock, and they're trying to make it work because that will give them the inside into Graham Hill Bend, but there's not quite enough room there for the Formula 1 to squeeze up the inside of that Formula 2 machine. But it is a race lead at the moment overall and in the Formula 2s for the 114 of Lockie and Rostrom.
All right, Bradley, I'm going to say I'm literally just watching Gary close the door there, and the other thing I've known, no, Gary, it's all good, it's not you, mate, it's the stuff on the window this I can see there. It's only a fine spray at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if after this the sidecars got some good heat in the tyres and we're racing now, so hopefully it's not hitting us, but I think we're very, very close to declaring a wet race, unfortunately, Bradley, which obviously we definitely don't need with the sidecars. So beginning on the visors, the problem is, of course, on a bike, I don't know how often you've ridden in the wet, Bradley, but when you're going along, the rain hits your visor very rapidly. If you're doing 60 miles an hour, you're getting a lot of rain on your visor. Now, actually, it's not raining that hard. Obviously, these guys have got good feel. You can slide the big sidecars around a little bit, but obviously, rain and slick tyres don't mix terribly well. Bradley, you keep talking about the race. I'm going to listen on the radio and see what the clerks and the marshals are saying.
Gap across the line with 0.6 of a second between Wayne Lockie and Saunders. That's the number 96 machine of James Saunders and Rob Copper preparing from Leeds. So a bit of a trek to get down here to Kent for this Brands Hatch opening round. But they've made the trip and they're there in second position overall and in the Formula 2 class. Third position overall, but leading the Formula 1s. In fact, they're now leading the overall race because they've somehow found their way through on not one but two outfits on that lap, and Lockie and Rostrom trying to squeeze back up the inside, but there's no room there to get that Formula 2 machine through. So it's Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens who lead the way in the F1s and overall now over Wayne Lockie and the number 96 of James Saunders. So that is your top three overall. Then it's Wakely and Hughes, Ilaria and Saunders up next. That's the top five as they drop down in towards Graham Hill Bend. Then it's a big gap between the number 8 outfit of Ilaria and Saunders before we see the 71 of Brian Gray and Frankie Muldoon. But then behind them is their nearest competitor in the Formula 1s. That is Greg Lambert and Robin King. Looks like Greg Lambert found a way through on the 15 of Stuart Bainborough as well.
Well, I guess the big teller, of course, is what sort of lap times are these guys doing. And Wakely and Hughes, for example. What do we got there? We've got a 52.3 and 52 and 52.9.
Posted a 53.3.
Yeah, so I don't think we're too wet at the moment.
We can see that the white flag with the red cross has just been shown. It's not the St George's flag. It's the to signal the riders and passengers as well that it is raining in that particular section of the circuit. So Ben Holland
I think it's very light. Look at those times, but you don't do a 53.9 when it's wet on slicks. So, yeah, they'll be aware of the conditions, I think. But at the moment, and the sun's just come out again, just to add to the confusion here, of course. But, hey, that's British weather for you.
Greg Lambert's found a way through on Brian Gray. So that moves him up into 6th position with Robin King. So Greg Lambert and Robin King up into 6th position ahead of Brian Gray and Frankie Muldoon. And that, of course, will also be for the final F1 podium slot. Across the line, there is the 14 machine. It is Wakely and Hughes. They're 1.2 seconds away from Lockie and Rostrom, who unfortunately lost track position and the Formula 2 race lead to James Saunders. So they're punching the way through the tail enders at the moment. James Saunders, number 96, that's the white and the yellow outfit, just going up the inside of the tail ender, and that's Wayne Lockie going around the outside. So they are both through, and it's pretty much equal for both driver and passenger on that occasion. 14, Wakely and Hughes, second in the Formula 1s. They're through Surtees at the moment. Looks like a little bit of a squeeze there for the number 8 of Brian Ilaria and Josh Saunders as they try to find their way through as well. But Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens purple in sector number 1 actually, Keith. So purple in sector number 1 for your race leaders, Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens, open up the advantage to 2.8 seconds. They've just put in a 52.2, which is almost the fastest lap of the weekend.
Yeah, so there's nothing too wrong with the conditions out there then. If you do those sorts of times, it's absolutely brilliant to see Holland and Stevens doing those. So Saunders and Coppock second, Lockie and Ross in third there. And again, we're not 100% who's scoring points. I would actually say, Bradley, most of the people who are still here are probably still scoring points because obviously we've seen some bigger grids of the sidecars over the weekend. I think we had 26 sidecars at one stage. We're down to 16 now. So I'm thinking it's mainly the British and international runners who have packed up the trucks and headed south. So that could well be representative of the championship. I wouldn't be surprised if all these guys are indeed in the series this year.
Fastest lap of the race again for Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens at the end of lap number 6. We do have 4 laps to go now, so we are at approaching 2/3 race distance. Race leaders, incidentally, are just making the way around Druids with a 3.6 second advantage over Josh Saunders and Wayne Lockie, and everybody in the top 4 putting in a personal best lap of the race. In fact, everybody bar 1, and that is Brian Alaria in 5th place. Everybody in the top 7 posting their personal best lap of the race at the end of lap number 6. And again, it's purple in sector number 1 for Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens as they go around the top end of the circuit, round Clearways on towards Clark Curve again. Looks like they're just about to encounter one of the Greg Lambert Sidecar School graduates.
Yeah, out there kind of could well be their first race, of course, couldn't it?
It is. It's the number 49 of Dean Perry and Kira Miller, not a pairing that we've come across previously,
no,
so it could well be
there.
their first race meeting. The 666 of James Hanks and Jonathan Kirk, they are out there. They're graduates of the Greg Lambert Sidecar School as well. They are 7th in the Formula 2s, 12th position overall for the 666. And they've also been on the podium in a feature race at Oliver's Mount as well. So it's incredible what you can do when you go to the Greg Lambert Race School.
Yep, certainly helps you along, doesn't it? Just having a look at the points from last year, actually, mate, and pretty much everybody, and certainly in the top 10, has scored points with this in the last year. So I think they are all quite representative. And of course, the main one being Holland and Stevens there. They were 3rd in the championship last year in the F1 sidecars. Their main contender this year could well have been Simon Gilbert. Unfortunately, Simon lost his brakes, which put him into Paddock Hill Bend rather quicker than he would have liked. To be fair, losing your brakes going to Paddock Hill on one of these things, he got away quite lightly, albeit with the bent chassis, but him and his passenger Cameron Winfield both perfectly okay, even though Cameron did get ejected from the unit. Do you think he got ejected, or did he jump at the last moment?
He jumped,
Yeah, very sensible boy. Certainly a good escape route. And, so, yeah.
Well, there is Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens just making their way through on 2 of the tail enders. Josh Saunders in 2nd position, first of the Formula 2s ahead of Wayne Lockie. And in fact, the number 14 machine of Wakely and Hughes, they are right in the wheel tracks of Wayne Lockie. In fact, it was 0.2 of a second at the start of this lap, and it has closed down by a 10th. So it just goes to show how close it is between those 2 particular outfits as Ben Holland and Wayne Stevens come across the line to take the last lap
flag, yeah, indeed. Watching them all down. If you've got a plan, you better enact it now. Running out of time rapidly. It's amazing. Watching the outfits go side by side, and one of the slower outfits there down the front straight was a big old closing speed there, wasn't it? So definitely a breathtaking moment, that's for sure. Up the hill we go then for the last time. Again, Holland and Stevens looking good for that 25 points for their total chase. Wakely and Hughes looking good to pick up the 20 points, especially if they've just overtaken Lockie and Rostrom on that particular lap. Another pass there as well as Morris, Harris Byatt, and Bainborough, Rutland swap places as well. Again, it's an F1 over F2, so no great change really. The first mention stays in the 5th place in the F1s, whereas Bainborough and Rutland stay 4th place in the F2s. Buchanan and Evans, Hancock and Bevan, they've again regular point scorers with us. I know Ross and Adam on the Bull-In racing machine there. They were doing the TT last year. I'm wondering if they've got the same plans this year. As the checker flag goes out, and it is Holland and Stevens claiming yet another win, or a win, I should say. They won earlier today. We're missing a sheet.
Yeah, because I don't think we've got the race 3 grid sheets,
worries,
but
still good.
We can see earlier on it was
Saunders and Coppock, Wakely and Hughes, Lockie and Rostrom.
It was Saunders and Coppock who took the victory
Saunders and Coppock, okay.
overall earlier on.
Yep. Obviously, Saunders and Kovac take the F2 victory ahead of Lockie and Rostrom, and then Alaria and Saunders. Very familiar face in the paddock is Brian Alaria. Been around for a long time.